Alright, hope it works now. Sorry about that, guys. I had a bit of an issue with the chat. I couldn't actually read any messages. Just printed a bunch of signals. Oh, yeah. Hope it works now. Sorry about that, and guys. Apparently I'm listening to my own stream, so I'm just gonna turn off the sound. Just printed a bunch of signals. Oh, yeah. Apparently I'm listening to my own stream, so I'm just gonna turn off the sound. Like that. Okay. So I think most rookie mistakes are out of the way now. He has a voice, yeah. He's talking. So I'll just be removing this one, and I think we're good to go. I'm hearing two people at the same time. Yeah, it's I had my own stream open. I've been doing a bit of testing just to get it to work here on YouTube, as it's a bit different to set up than from Twitch apparently. So it's pretty typical of me to have technical issues, but it should be working now. Hopefully. If you're still hearing double voices, please tell me in the chat. Great accent, mate. Thanks. How old are you? I'm I'm 26. I just turned 26 recently. So welcome to all the new people that haven't really seen me stream before. I've done like 4 streams, I think, on Twitch. I'll just be doing a short stream this night as well here on YouTube, mainly just to test the settings. As like I said, the setup is a bit different. So I'm gonna give a brief explanation of what I've built so far in just a moment. Just gonna answer some questions. You don't sound like an American. No, I'm not. I've never been in the US, man. Dutch accent? No, pretty close, maybe. Why little traffic? I suppose my city has a high level of walkability. Most people walk to work. Greetings from France. Greetings back to you from Denmark. I thought you'd be Brad Pitt. Got disappointed. Man, anybody's gonna disappoint next to Brad Pitt. Come on. Do you have a girlfriend? I do, Tom. Whoa, guys, that's some private questions. That's not too bad. Yeah, fine, it's long gone. I don't even think I can load the save anymore. I still have some of the saves in here. Yeah, a lot of them here, but I don't really think they work anymore, to be honest. I've changed a lot of assets on this account. German, nope. Belgian, nope. Irish, nope. Hey, Skip. Yeah, I thought I'd just try my hands on some YouTube streaming. The setup was a bit different, so I kind of messed up my first try. You're Danish, yeah, I am. What do you do for a job? Well, I don't have a job at the moment. I finished my bachelor's degree in history this summer, so I'm currently taking a master's degree in IT. So I have all the fun stuff with like database, programming, software engineering. A lot of fun. Liechtensteinian. No, Sonny. I'm Danish. Address. I live in the northern part of Denmark. Greetings from the Canary Islands. Oh, awesome. I just I've been there 2 summers in a row. What are you planning on doing next? How much hours do you got on City Skylines? I have about 1,000 hours now, I think, split on 2 accounts. I played the game when it was released in 2015, but I was kind of annoyed by the aesthetics of it, since it all looks so cartoony. I was used to playing SimCity 4. And then I started playing about a month before I launched my YouTube, so it's been about a year now. where I started playing again. I don't think I actually launched the game during 2016 at all. Greetings from southern Fyn, Denmark. Greetings to you, Brandt. Hej från Sverige. Hi. And greetings from Italy. Okay, I think we've been around Europe now. So to all you newcomers, welcome to the stream, and I'll just be showing off what I've built so far. So if you notice in the title, I've called it a region instead of a city. And my idea is to treat the map as a region. It's obviously quite huge, and with the H1 tiles I can build anywhere I want. This map is called, I want to say it's called Supper Bay, Washington. So if you type in Washington on the workshop, you should be able to find it. Hello from Canada, hello to you, greetings from Croatia. We have the whole world here. Hey BS. So yeah, the map is really cool. I can only recommend playing on it because you don't have to alter a lot of things. You can just jump into it. The highways are decently realistic, and you have these farm fields. So yeah, anyways, the plan is to have multiple cities and towns spread out through this region, and then have everything connected by intercity buses and rail lines, and maybe some other mass transit options as well. What I've built so far during the course of 4 streams, so something like 9 hours I think, is this city, which I kind of treat as the main city of the region. I haven't quite decided, as there's obviously room for building a larger city, but this is what I've built so far. So I first laid out this inner city area, obviously, and I just want to preface it by saying that the theme is Central European, but I haven't really specified a country, so I'm probably gonna take some liberties. I might even use some British assets. And this is kind of the extent of the inner city area. It has kind of a few basic things. One of my viewers told me in the chat I needed a church, so I built this together with my viewers. Made a small marketplace in front of it. We have a city hall. I think this is the one from Berlin actually. Monument to some dude who was probably very important, but I haven't really given him a story yet. Then we have a main train station, and this is, of course, some of you will have guessed it, but it's where I plan to have a bus hub, like the main bus station. It looks Czech, yeah, it could be Czech actually. It could be. Greetings from Porto, awesome. Are you going to make a typical Central European block of flats quarter? It would make a nice realistic touch. Yeah, about that. I have some what I'd call public housing estates. This was the first one I built. Built a large traditional school here, and then I built some more public housing. I've kind of placed it on the outskirts of the inner city area to let's say simulate that we would probably not have it in here, because most of these buildings are they have enough charm to them that developers would want to keep them, just renovate them inside and sell them for a ton of euros, I suppose. So the public housing kinda shows the transition from the medium density to lower density out here. For anybody wondering, I've used Avenia's European Suburbia pack for all my suburbs, and they're actually zoned, as you can see. So while I have placed everything in here manually, I've chosen the way of zoning all my suburbs because I don't want to give them a lot of attention. Those of you that watch my stuff on YouTube know that I don't like to detail too much, and I like to just apply detail where I find it the most necessary. So that would be like the main hubs in here in the inner city area. But yeah, I've been zoning this, and the way I did it was that if you have plop the growables mod, so you can just place all growables, of course stuff won't upgrade. So that's an issue if you want to zone, because we want a lot of diversity. So what I did was that I took the theme. This is within the theme manager mod. So I took the theme she made, which is absolutely awesome. And then I took all the houses that are not level 1. I went down here and I clicked clone building, select level 1, and I give it a unique name, just L1 or something. And then I hit clone. And I did that for all the buildings. So as you can see, all these blue ones are my clones that are locally on my computer. And that of course means that when I choose to zone, it can pick from any of all the buildings in the pack. It won't just build level 1s, which then aren't able to upgrade, which is bad of course, because we want as many houses as possible to grow. I have a bit more public housing out here just to break up the suburban feel a bit. What do I need to show you? I have in last stream, which was 2 days ago, Sunday evening, we built this like train repair shop, basically just a depot. It's pretty low detail, but I think it works. A bit of industry to go along with it, and we just made this quick construction lot. And so the plan is for the construction lots of the city, doing streaming, I'll ask people in the chat what they feel would be appropriate to build on the construction lots I have, and so you guys can get to choose. I have one here, and I have one in here somewhere. I have a construction lot here as well. There are at least 2 to make a pick. I'm gonna ask, if not today, then soonish in a stream. Anyways, moving across the river, I used some medium density buildings here in an attempt to make the transition from medium to low density not so steep, basically. You have a voice, yeah, I do. And then I just switch over to suburban, and again, I did not place these very meticulously, I just zoned them, and it works out awesomely. Just add a lot of trees and it works pretty nice. So I guess this is the last major part. I also built this during the last stream. I've been pretty effective, so I've built almost all of this during the last stream, 2.5 hours or something, 3 hours maybe. What we have here is just a basic industrial area or port, I suppose. It doesn't have container capacity, and as you can see, all the lots are not occupied by buildings anymore, so it's kind of dilapidated, or I guess it's in decay, because the manufacturing industry is not as strong anymore as it used to be. So today, in this time and age, if you could say that, there's primarily a few workshops left that manufactures, well, judging by this little icon, I suppose this one manufactures Canadian hockey players and then ships them to whatever country needs a bit of talent on the ice. And we have a big logistics center and a construction lot more here. Well, soon a construction lot. I just made this to kind of look like there used to be a building here which has just been demolished, and the last cleanup is just being done. And someone during the stream I did 2 days ago asked if I could do a public housing area here. He thought it would be pretty fitting to have it next to the harbor. So I just made a small district called the Depressing Public Housing, so I would remember to do it, and I just did it on stream, taking some guidelines from the chat, and I think it turned out alright. Again, the detail level is not too high, because I don't feel you need too much detailing to make it look okay. I made a small playground here, right next to the road, so if you don't like your children, you can hope they want to cross when there's a lot of traffic. Very convenient. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I've been building so far. I kinda built some suburbs over here as well. And I extended the suburbs up here, so I suppose the land value here is pretty decent because it's pretty scenic to have a house up here, I suppose. Another project I want to do is, this is just a placeholder building, but I want to place a large castle up here. I might use this one, but someone in the chat made a recommendation last time. So that's an asset I'm gonna get and see if I can fit it. It's kind of a large castle. So I guess that's about it. Okay, there are a lot of comments. I'm gonna try to respond some. Zoned, what madness it is. Hi Crumbs. Any particular reason for streaming on YouTube? Not much else than just to try it. I used Twitch just because I was told that it was the easiest to set up, and I kinda agree. It's been a bit, not a struggle, but it took some configuration to get YouTube to work properly. So I don't know how the quality is like or how the sound quality is like. I'll only get to see that afterwards when it uploads the stream, I suppose. Let's see. Have you seen the parking lot roads? I have, man. They're awesome. I actually think I've subscribed to them. Just don't remember if I did on this account or the other one. Are you going to do Eastern European soon? I'm not sure if that's a project I'm going to start. I've kind of wanted to start an American series to work on at the same time as the Japanese series, because it's been so long since I've built anything American, and I think I've really improved at the game since then. I do of course have some Eastern European influences, hint 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 hint, but it could be fun to try. Currently compiling a list of YouTubers and series to watch for Reddit. You, as well as many people in this chat, will be getting a feature. I think it's nice to have a place for newcomers in the community. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And thanks to the guys that have chosen to subscribe so far. DJ Triple and Yatsky and Kevin Sang. The public housing you made looks very realistic indeed. Now if you increase the size and make it into an entire quarter, you get the Eastern European reality. Yeah, true. In Central Europe we have a lot more public housing. I agree, Dexter, but it also depends on the size of the city. Because if you think about it, the inner city area is not really big. You can walk from one end to the other in like 5 minutes. And using the realistic population mod, I have 13,000 people at the moment. So I actually think I have a pretty decent chunk of public housing. Now if the city were much bigger, I'd probably have something a lot bigger, a lot more expansive, like a whole district of public housing maybe. Hello from Texas. Hello, mate. Well, that's not Texas. That's not very Texan, but okay. You sound Danish. I am Danish, so that's right on the mark. Yeah, I'm from Denmark. People still wondering, is the British city dead? Oh, it's dead. Whenever Brexit happened, it got crushed. When you said sang, I just knew you were Danish. Yeah, I kinda did that on purpose. Am I the only American here? I highly doubt that, Sean, as around 30% of my audience is from the States. It's actually the biggest single nationality watching my content, followed by it's a war between Germans and Brits. Hello from Amsterdam. Hello, man. Yo, Infra, you always make me angry. Watching you play seems so damn easy. When I play and it looks like shit. But I've learned some techniques from you and detail more, so I'm getting better. That's the spirit, man. It takes time. And I mean, some people just do awesome stuff in this game. I'll never reach their level. Like if you guys watch Press on YouTube, he does really high detail stuff, and it just looks insanely realistic.
Some real solid support.
Which countries do you consider Central European? I'd say the lower half of Germany, Austria, Switzerland,
There's things you need to change.
somewhere along those lines. But I haven't really fixed my city on any one country.
You got to live for like the 10%. When I say that, I mean 90% of this game is.
Hello from Czech Republic. Greetings from Croatia.
Nope, we don't want you.
We're all saying hello from now. Hello from Belarus. We're moving eastwards. Hi from Glasgow. Really love the rundown town you built on the suburb map. Oh, the American one, yeah. I made one mistake though, Gordon. I didn't include a rail connection. That's kind of a big mistake. Because if it's run down because the industry left, it should have a rail connection to symbolize that that was the primary way of freighting in and out goods. In Texas we say howdy y'all. Greetings from the other side of Öresundsbron. I'm really surprised that you're not a real life architect or something, dude. Maybe you should do a career change. Yeah, I don't know. I like cities and buildings and architecture. It's kinda... I think I'm halfway autistic about it, but it's cool. Hello from Poland, howdy. Okay, I think I'm gonna build something now. So I'm just super appreciating everybody who's tuning in. Alright, so kinda left off with some stuff over here basically that I didn't really finish. I think I kinda use this what's it called? The district tool to mark where I want individual cities on this map to to end. It's gonna remove that. And I think this will be the extent. I'm kinda contemplating having some of the low density houses extend out here and have small chunks of it along the major roads, so down here as well, and then have a not a similar sized city but a decently sized town somewhere close, perhaps over here maybe. So I'm just gonna remove all the trees and then add them in later. And for my suburbs, I don't really, I don't spend a lot of time thinking about the road structures when they're European. They're pretty organic, if that makes sense. So I'll just try and utilize some different patterns, and then if I have a large area like this, I might dedicate it as a park basically. But I think in this case I'm gonna make this the park instead. So I'm just doing a bunch of low detail parks throughout the city just to break up the suburban grid a bit. Whoops. And I've been adding these small playgrounds. And just some benches for any parents that wish to make sure their kids don't get lost in the woods. So I'm gonna showcase the zoning now and how nice it works when you just convert all your buildings to level 1, or you clone them to level 1, sorry. They're not really conversions because of course they're not Rico. Just gonna make sure these don't clip too much into the cliff. Now the cool thing about the building theme I'm using here, that is the Central European suburban theme, I think that's the name, it's by Avanya, is that instead of placing awkward small houses on these 1x1 or 1x2, what will grow instead is these small sheds. As you can see, they're treated as a house by the game, but they look like they are a part of the house next door, which is awesome, of course. So I use Demand Master by Kagami. I think it's in the mod list, which is in the description below. And I just fix all the demand at 100. That's the easiest way for me to ensure that people will move in instantly. So if we hit play here, we should see some stuff happening. Break up the suburban grid. A grid in Europe, I thought those don't exist there. We have grids as far as street layout goes. I think grid is the wrong word for me to use. I guess the monotony of it all. I don't use zoning, I only use Rico. Well, Mark, I use Rico a lot as well. I just feel that for suburbs I want to be able to put them down relatively quickly. Just to have a kind of realistic scale. Especially if you're building an American city. If I start an American project, I'm gonna make sure I have just the right theme where I've cloned all the American single family houses I need to level 1, so that I can just zone it on a very large scale. Because of course, if I were to build a US city again, I would need to have a ton of suburban sprawl. So the only detailing, if you could even call that, I do to these areas is I just make sure that there are a bunch of trees. The good thing about the houses is that they already have some random props, some hedges and some barbecues. Luckily they don't have pools, which is nice. I don't really want that. But they just represent a pretty cookie cutter middle income area. Nothing crazy. And of course the park. Usually I just pick this live oak tree is by far my favorite thing on the workshop. I use it constantly. If you notice on YouTube, I use it on every YouTube video I make. It doesn't matter what country, and I don't care if it's realistic. It's just such a nice model. So I spam it whenever I get the chance. Then I usually pick a slightly smaller tree, just to mix it up a bit. Then that's pretty much it. If I were to meticulously detail, I know I butcher that word every time I try to use it. I'm trying to expand my vocabulary. Anyways, if I were to detail these areas very like individually, the suburban areas, it would take forever. But instead, this has taken me around 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and of course it's not as good looking as if you do everything by hand. If you place every building and make sure that all the gardens are looking nice and the backyards are super detailed. I wish I could detail as much as you do, because most of the time my cities look like giant grids with skyscrapers randomly placed everywhere. Man, I've been there. I should see if I could dig up some pictures from the first cities I built in this game, back when they released the game. We have grids and city centers, but not really beyond that. I guess in Europe it's kinda... so I'm gonna apologize if I become all historian, but I have a bachelor's degree, so I tend to do that. But in Europe we do have grids in some cities, but that's usually if the city was established by a king in an already developed country during like the Middle Ages. So we have a city in Denmark called Esbjerg, which if you look at it on Google Maps, you'll see that almost all of the city center is a strict grid, 90-degree grid. That's because it was kind of pre-planned from the current king to have a city there. So when it's not organic, you can have European cities that have grids, because it's not a bad road system. It's just been synonymous now with American cities, and American cities have a ton of issues because of sprawl and there are a lot of stuff. So if you look at Esbjerg, you'll see that, and I think there's a pretty big city in the UK as well, which is almost entirely a big grid, because it's also a planned city. I think it's called Milton Keynes or something like that. Nerd! I love it, yeah. Don't get me started, David. I don't hide the fact I'm a nerd. Usually newer cities are in a grid, yeah, and it's the same case for in the USA, because of the rapid demographic growth of the country, because of immigration during the first couple of centuries. People were planning cities at a rapid rate, especially when the population started moving westwards. So it's almost as the further west you go in the USA, the more grid style the roads become. American cities have a bunch of problems because of sprawl. Of course they do, man. You can read up on it if you want. Suburban sprawl is not a good thing for the US economy. It's not very sustainable. It makes the creation of mass transit very difficult and very expensive in the US. It means that public services such as police service and what's it called, fire station coverage is also very tricky. American cities are planned to be traffic carriers, so they can be toll roads. Milton Keynes is a garden city which was planned and built after the war to cope with rapid urban expansion. Yeah, it's kind of the same principle from my public housing. It's not particularly pretty, but I imagine most of the public housing I have in this city was built during the 60s, so the post Second World War baby boom kinda demanded that, okay, we need a lot of housing. But like I explained in my previous stream, these areas are not actually bad, and especially not when they were built in the cities. They usually had a lot of green space in between, so people that lived in the more cramped inner city areas and couldn't afford a suburban home would think really nicely of these. They also often had their own like bathroom and kitchen, so you didn't have to share anything. I've lived in Milton Keynes for 15 years and there's rarely massive traffic jams, only a few small ones. Grids work. Yeah, grids, there's nothing wrong with grids, not at all. So I think it's about time I fill out this island for the city. And I kind of have a general idea for how to develop it, but we'll see how it goes. It's not fixed, and I always just build on the move. That makes sense. I don't really pre-plan anything, sorry. But the idea is to just have a small portion of this area be like old medium density, and then very quickly move out into more suburban developments. So I'm just gonna have a few of these tiny roads. And we'll see if we can get it to work. Get it to look how we want. So if I can have this area here be kinda old, I think that would work out nicely. So before people ask, almost all of the buildings I'm gonna use are from the European sets that Feinbild has made, so you can easily find them on the workshop. He organized them all into these big collections basically. Just hit subscribe to all and that's it. They don't have any, I don't think they have any dependencies like several props you have to subscribe to or anything like that.
I roll it back to see it against the girl's crocheted dress.
And I might make a few like empty lots just to kinda see if I can make this area look a little less desirable. And that some of the houses were in a condition where they were not really worthy of preserving, and therefore new construction is on the way. So I think I'll have a construction lot over here as well, so there's more for you guys to pick on. But this is not pretty. I find something a little older looking, yeah. Oh. Hi, mister. I think I'm just gonna break up this a bit by having a small road going here. So that's something I've done a few other places just to mix it up a bit. Like here, instead of filling it out with buildings, I just made a small garden covered off by a fence, and the backyard has been turned into a, well, it has got a small like access road with some parking. I've done that few places throughout the city just to mix it up a little so it's not all so boring but similar. Gonna do the same here. Let's see, I have these. Same. Something like this. And I can already see I have to adjust it a bit, of course. And I'm gonna delete this one to just have something which is more slim. No, sorry, not so tall. It kind of stood out. So something like this. Yeah, we're just gonna move these forward a bit. It's a very narrow road, of course. And we'll have to adjust this. Voila! This may have been asked earlier, but what are you doing to stop fires or house abandonment? I haven't really seen you real build houses for that. Chris, if you check the description, you will find a mod list. And if I updated it correctly, it should have mods that will disable just about any issue you could encounter with the simulation of this game. So I don't have fires, I don't think I have any health issues, I don't really have any... Do I have crime issues? I have a... Oh shit, oh sorry. Yeah, I have some crime, apparently. I have one police station, so I do have crime. But the only reason I simulate crime is because then I make sure that my police stations will spawn police vehicles. If I disable crime completely, my police stations will not spawn any vehicles. So that's the primary reason for doing that, yeah. But yeah, I have mods to kind of disable anything that would annoy me or keep me from just making a beautiful city. I don't really care about the simulation of the game. So you could say that I cheat, basically. Because the simulation is it's also too easy. You can make any city you want if you've played the game for 50 hours. I could at least. So I use these hedges quite randomly in here. It's just to add some detail. They're not pretty, and I don't spend too much time making sure that they are perfectly aligned or anything. But just do something like this, and then I add a bunch of trees, basically, or flowers or whatever I feel like. It's just so that it's not only trees placed in here. So we can do something like this. This guy should cut his lawn. So this is kind of what I end up with for a city block. And it's not too detailed, but it's about the level that I like. Toughland mod list is in the description. Yeah, but you don't play the game the way the devs had intended at first. You use the game as a tool to make something, not to play the game, so cheating is very well. I agree. I was wondering if you would ever be interested in making a low-class industrial Eastern European city, realism, communism. Sometime maybe. I'm actually being asked that quite a lot, so I think that's something people want to see. I thought someone already had done that on YouTube though, but I might be wrong. I'm gonna see if I can make a small city block here, but some of the angles are kinda tight, so it might look a bit awkward. I suppose I'll use this building here. I think there's yeah, this one's better. Has a nicer prop. Something like that. So of course, manually placing all the buildings can become a chore, but whenever you don't have a grid within this game, a grid you can use to zone, then I feel you just kind of have to do it. Because if I were just to zone these awkward squares, yeah, you guys know how it works. It's not the zoning is not the strong point of this game. But then again, it's not really fair to compare to the zoning in SimCity 4, as you could only really have grids in SimCity 4 anyways. I have a small corner building here. Let's see if I can get this to work. The angle's a bit too tight. If I pick a bigger building, I should be able to hide most of it in this building here. That's good enough. I'm sorry if any of you have OCD and I offend you deeply. Instead of placing a building here, I'm going to use the same principle here to just mix it up. So I'm just gonna see if I can fit a bit of parking. I'll go. Hope you guys like the music, by the way. I get told on Twitch that it's a bit too sleepy. But I gotta pick what I like. And I find it really enjoyable. And whenever I feel an area is just a bit too naked, basically, I'll just do some very basic detailing. So do something like too big. Adding a tree and maybe covering the corner with some bollards at a 5 meter. It's a very small, quick thing to do, but it just adds a bit of, yeah, it makes it look a bit less vanilla, basically. Something like that. Just gonna save now. I save pretty regularly. Really like Enya, good artist. Thanks for using that in your videos. I've never found it if I hadn't stumbled upon it. Yeah, really awesome musician from Russia. Sent him an email to ask if I could use his stuff, and he was really easy to talk to. Said that it was all fine. So I've been using his music as much as I can now in my videos without making it too repetitive. Hopefully, that's the intention at least. So this is where it gets more tricky, trying to transition this density into suburban houses. Because there are a lot of nice houses, but you don't have that much to work with, basically. Oops. Let's see. By the way, all the music is from the playlist, a public playlist I have here on YouTube called... Yeah, I have no idea, sorry, but you can find it easily on my YouTube. It should be pretty easy to find, at least. Oh, these cliffs, yeah, the texture is pretty bad. So that's just something I want to show you guys, because I can change it. I use a mod called Theme Mixer, which is here, to mix different map themes. So for instance, as you can I use the realistic European map theme by default, but as you can see I have some different textures, and what I've done is I've used this theme mixer mod, so you can pick a texture from the map theme you currently use. So this is the ruined diffuse texture. Now this is the texture that are next to roads here, and next to roads up here, and next to some of the buildings when you place them. And I changed it to the texture from this theme instead. So as you can see, it's a bit more subtle. Because if you go and look in your city right now, if you haven't done this, you could find like a lot of dirt here or whatever theme you use. So that's how I got this to be kinda subtle. And these cobblestone pavements, this is the pavement texture that I replaced with the pavement texture from a theme called Britannia, I think. So it's not a theme you can have on the workshop right now, it's just a custom one, but I just used existing themes to kind of mix it up. It's relatively easy, so I'd suggest everybody to get the theme mixer mod if you want to play around with it a bit. These two there. How does backside look? So again, this is just a very basic way of doing it. Okay. Just having a look. And the first hipster in his Tesla is already moving in. He's really moving in though. Damn. Ah, to park over here. Thank you, Dane. He has a MacBook. No, I have a CPU is i7 6700. My GPU is a GTX 1060, and I have 24 gigabytes of RAM. So here's the challenging part. I'm gonna do this if I can. Something. Some of the smaller ones. So the only reason I'm placing these area and not zoning them is that this area is a bit more detailed, so I just wanted to look right. And the effect I'm kinda striving to achieve here is the same that I've tried to do over here. Just basically have the transition from apartments to single family homes not be too harsh, and I've done that here by having some apartment buildings, and this is like a public housing building, follow the main road. I tried the same over here, where as you can see I have a lot of medium density, but I also have these single family homes in between, so that I have a more smooth transition from this to this. It's very dependent on what country you're in Europe, how smooth the transition is. In some cities you just go straight from the old medium density and to suburban areas. There's a lot of factors involved in how it actually looks. So we're just gonna have a suburban road here as well. See if zoning turns out okay for this. Whoops. just remove. See if this can work instead. These homemade corners are always a bit iffy. With roofs cliffing through. Yeah, I might just have to use this one again. Just feel it's a bit too tall maybe. And of course it has the prop that would actually... Don't I have a custom corner of some sort? I must have so much. I should. Well, that's very American. I think this is a British pub. Okay, so I'm gonna cheat here. Look, perfectly aligned to the road. Awesome. This will be an old corner as well. This is one of Boss Gecko's new buildings, I think. The song is so nice. Upgrade this road. Let's see how it's gonna look. It's always, I always hate doing the transitions. Well, I don't hate it, but it's always a challenge. Have you tried the new trams in Aarhus? No, not yet. So US City when? I don't deal in deadlines, man. I don't dare. My schedule on my master's degree is just well, it's pretty good, but every course is just so demanding. So I'm trying to take a 5-year software engineering degree in 2 years basically. And so I'm not a total rookie at computers, but I do not know any, or I did not know, should I say, any like programming or database development or any of that technical stuff, and now I have to. Because I have to know that at the exams, and it's been going pretty well so far. But yeah, I wanna make something American, definitely. I was actually contemplated doing like a Los Angeles based thing. I know that a couple other YouTubers are doing that as well, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. The only issue is that I feel that there's a lag in like low density, like single family detached houses for like that Los Angeles kind of feel. It's very northern or eastern what's currently available. Oh. So we hear the random hitches again. Make no sense. Hi Gecko. Kendrick-based locomotives. What? What? I'm gonna check that. Just a second, chat. Okay, so I put a dot before dot and after dot. I'm not very clever. Man, they look pretty cool. That made me all nostalgic. It's been so long. I need to build something American again within long. Do Central European cities have suburbs like that? Tons of them, man. Some German cities have a lot of sprawl going on. Should check out the Ruhr district as well. I don't know how Central European you'd consider the Ruhr district. I suppose you would. It's pretty sprawled. And to relocate Kendrick to Southern Canada, I can try and make a bullshit narrative to fit that, I guess. Hey Nitan, have you typed something in the chat? I'm sorry if I missed it. There's a ton of messages. So Nathan, I don't know if I pronounced his name correct, but he donated $40 to me Sunday, which kinda messed my head up a bit, but I decided to spend the money wisely and I've ordered a microphone, a Blue Yeti. So it should come in a few days. So thanks again to you, man, for making that possible. I really appreciate it. Now I can forgive you. Thank you, man. So just a few more of these old buildings and I can really fully transition into suburban areas. I'm gonna stick to the smaller ones, so it's the same. Really have to deal with hearing your voice, it might as well be good quality. I agree. I think this is might be a good place for houses as well. Let's see. know the music turned kind of religious. Yeah, I don't really have much to say. I think this is from another Russian dude called Skylines. I think he's called. He makes kind of the same type of music as Enya. Very, very talented. So I can only recommend you check out his stuff as well. But then again, it's all in the playlist, the public playlist on my YouTube. The road in the first block you made is a one direction road. Don't know if that is intentional, Sid. If you mean this one, it's intentional because it has parking on one side. So I know that functionality to actually leave is not there. You can't actually escape. If you park here, you die and go to hell. But for aesthetics, I like this road because of the on-street parking next to it. It's the same one here. I hope that makes sense. So it's intentional, don't worry. Let's see. I think it turned out pretty nice, actually. But I think I should make the river a bit wider here, because it just doesn't really seem realistic to have such a big whatever this is called, something clever. I'm just gonna save. See, I think I remember, yeah, I missed to do something down here that I want to do it last stream, but I weren't able to because I forgot to download the stuff I needed. But of course we need some cranes here. I'm not sure if I can actually erase. No, oh, never mind. It's just a minor detail. You can use the cranes without. So I just want to place these decorative cranes. But yeah, like I was saying, we don't have container capacity at this port at least, so the cranes are just for crates, yeah. Smaller goods, basically. And we can have a 30-meter mission between them. Oops. I'm not actually sure if I'm picking cranes good. There we go. Now we can pick 2 of them. 4 actually, have a couple more over here. We have a crane too much here. Can you pronounce the composer's name once again, please? The song before was from Skylines, so I think it's Skylines. Which country do you live in? I'm from Denmark. How do you know the city layouts? I don't. I have like general knowledge about cities, infrastructure, urban planning and design, mixtured with a ton of history knowledge. So I kind of go from there. So I just built. I just improvised, but I have a few guidelines for how I built, of course. That's kind of what I go with. So there's no real pre-planning, other than knowing what type of area I want to build. Hvad fanden er du fra Danmark? Det er Niels. Det burde bekræfte i hvert fald. And I forgot one more thing. So this pod area in general is just one massive showcase of how to use decals to make it look more detailed than it actually is. Not that it looks super detailed, but I have not used a ton of props here. I've just added a ton of decals because it just makes it a bit more grungy, I guess. Why don't you speak in your videos like in your stream? I've thought about doing voiceovers for a long time. Clearly I don't really have an issue with speaking, but well, I don't think so, at least. You guys are to judge, I suppose. But for me, the YouTube experience is more city skylines and some nice music is kinda what I try to achieve. So I can actually find people that do voiceovers can be quite an annoyance to me. So I would rather just have the music, to be honest. I know that I have these annoying text boxes, but you can choose to read them or not, and I guess that choice is something I want to give people. So people that just want to watch the video and just chill out with the music, they can do that. Det var sjovt. Jeg har set din video ret lang tid uden at vide det er, men jeg er også lidt privat jo. Det er ikke fordi jeg kæfter op om alt muligt. Please, good sir, build a big old dildo street. I know a lot about infrastructure and urban cityscapes, but I don't know what a dildo street is. Perhaps you can explain it? Don't you get copyrights when you use the music? No, okay, so something people don't know is that couple of my videos are not monetized because by default they are monetized, but if I've made a mistake and used copyrighted music, I usually don't remove the music to monetize the video again because I feel it removes the the viewing experience. So I have a bunch of videos, but like the two biggest, I have one video right now at 110,000 views or something from the European series, and it's not monetized. It got hit with a copyright strike 2 hours after I uploaded it. So instead of removing the song so I could earn money on it, I made the decision to keep the song in because otherwise you would watch a video and suddenly there'd be no music for 5 minutes, and who enjoys that? And I have another video currently at like 60 something thousand views that's not monetized either. But I strive to find music without copyrights, just so I can earn a cup of coffee or two on it, but also so that I don't risk having the music being taken down or having copyright strikes against my account. If I have doubts, I'll write to the artist and ask if they would allow me to use it. That's what I've done with the music you can hear right now, made by Enya. I wrote him a personal mail basically and said that I love this music, so if I could use it, then I think we could both benefit, because he would have a platform to like people could explore his music. A good guy Infrastructurist doesn't monetize the video. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy the fact that I can earn a bit of money on doing this because I spend so much time and I try to fit it in an otherwise pretty pressured schedule. So I mean, if I were given the chance to do so, I would stream and make YouTube stuff full time when I finished my master's degree, before I would go look for some boring IT job so I can rot and die in an office. So don't get me wrong, but for some of the videos it just feels it's so awkward to remove a song just to monetize it when I have 5 minutes in the video with no music. I mean, people are gonna think what's going on. So, but I've been pretty good at making sure that I don't misuse other people's content, so I don't have a lot of copyright strikes, but I do have a small handful. But I have more than 70 videos now, so I guess it was destined to happen. Make original music, you lazy. Yeah, I should produce my own stuff. I have FL Studio, but I'm pretty awful at using it. I don't think that's where I'm very creative, to be honest. I guess I don't have to tell, I don't really have a plan here. Should be pretty obvious. These have all popped up. I'm going to smooth this itch a bit. I'm just gonna save. I save before I use any of the terraforming tools, because you can so easily mess something up. Did you finish the English city? I'm not gonna finish any city ever, because I have an issue that I think most of you can relate to. I lose interest, and the other aspect of saying I never will finish a city is that imagine finishing a city. Like, you place the last building, the last prop, and you say to yourself, it's done. It's as realistic as I can get it. I mean, I don't think I'm ever gonna achieve that, just because the scale won't be there. I'm never gonna, well, of course, if I make a small city, then I could finish it easily, because there would be it would be much quicker to reach whatever size I intend for the city to have. But just look at the Japanese city, I'm never gonna be able to finish that. I mean, just the inner city area in itself requires so many suburban areas to back it up, to make that look realistic. So it's not gonna be possible. So I'm just gonna continue for as long as it's interesting, and to build all the areas I want to build. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna finish a city. A small one maybe. It's kind of inevitable. It's the same if I'm going to build an American city. If it's to have just any sort of decent scale, we're talking about at least 10 kilometers worth of suburban sprawl. And so of course, if you do very low amount of detailing, that's something you can achieve, but it's also gonna bore you to death. And I think it's kind of something that many YouTubers, I don't know if I would say struggle with, but when their cities are finished and they do the final episode, then if you look at the scale, it's not what you would consider finished from that point of view. So they probably often finish the city because of other limitations, like their computer is completely burning down or something like that. That's why I got copyrights to the Japanese one, right? Yeah. If only Paradox would make a proper sandbox mode that unlocks all assets and makes it possible to place anything anywhere, I'd be happy. I am not going to put my faith in Paradox to introduce anything that we as heavy mod users, or whatever you'd call us, I don't think they'll ever make anything we will be able to fully enjoy. I am aware that playing a heavily modded version of this game is kind of a niche within a niche, because city building games is a niche in its own, and then you play non-vanilla, that's also a part of the niche. But I've not really been excited for any of the DLCs they've made, and I don't know anybody who does very heavily modded cities that has been super excited for anything. I was excited for the trams. I don't remember that DLC what the name was, but I was excited for the trams because that actually provided a usable, realistic means of mass transit. But like blimps, natural disasters, I've not used any of that, and I just don't see the use at all, to be honest. So it feels very gimmicky to me. So my only hope is that if they ever want to make a City Skylines 2, my hope is that they would try and cater a bit more to the modding community, but I have my doubts, definitely. So I'm gonna see if I can be lazy here. Very lazy. Yeah, Nathan, just hit me up. This is really lazy, but I think it's gonna work out. That has really inspired me to write a long essay of what I would want this game to be sent. I could write like a PhD on that, man. The improvements of the asset editor has made it much more practical. I agree. What I think that they do appreciate that there's such a large modding community. I just think that the vanilla stuff they present is vanilla. I mean, of course, it will always, by definition, be vanilla when they publish it, but it's just very... Yeah, I don't know. I just think that the blimps and the natural disasters, from my perspective, I would want like a much more elaborative way of zoning. Something inspired by like SimCity 4. And I think that the fight for making the simulation nice is not entirely lost. I mean, they could make the simulation interesting to me by simulating wealth levels better and make that more visually apparent if you have a low income area or higher income area. I remember that from SimCity 4, and that was awesome. Compared to any other publishing company, PDX caters really a lot to the modern community. I agree. Core problem with Skylines is that it was crippled from birth. It had a small starting development team, many inefficient ways of handling various things and many limitations. Yeah, I don't think they expected it to be that successful. They really hit like a drought because SimCity 2013 was so insanely awful. I swear I literally played it for 20 minutes and it was gone from my computer after that, and I never looked back. Jesus. I know I'm being a bit of a drama queen.
Back to the ceiling of the girl's crochet dress.
So I would hope that they would try to maybe pay a bit more of attention to realistic stuff. They don't have to make it more niche than it already is by making it a super hardcore city builder with a high level, like a high entry skill level for normies or whatever you could call people that play vanilla City Skylines. But yeah, a bit more complexity would be nice, and some better looking buildings. I know that they modeled a lot of the buildings from real life buildings, but styles are just odd. I mean, they just went to Google Street View and picked Tokyo, and yeah, it's realistic because it actually exists in Tokyo, but Japanese architecture is so distinctive. So to have it as a like generalist style is kind of weird, I think. ND was good because of rotor shades, and that's it. For the shipping pier, can you add some lampposts and overgrown grass, maybe some empty shipping containers scattered around? I think that could be a cool idea, Vinny. But I think for the containers that would be better up here. I've kind of been discussing with the chat on the last couple streams if I should have just a small container capable port up here. A City Skylines 2 would have to be reworked from ground up. If they combined the abilities City Skylines has with a bit of variety and detail, that would be good. I agree. I hope that's the direction they would want to take a successor to the game in. But given how much this game actually sold, I doubt it. I mean, the vanilla appeal is clearly pretty strong. Wolfie, yeah, I agree. SimCity, the recent one did some good things. I'm being a bit too harsh. I liked the overall graphics of the game. I think it looked a lot better than City Skylines does in its vanilla iteration. So it had some things going, but the fact that you could build on such a limited tile just killed it instantly for me. But that's, as you all know, or some of you know, I like to kind of spread my cities out and try and achieve like a real city feel. So you have a long distance between distinctive neighborhoods and the likes, and that was really impossible to achieve. I remember watching UFO's Tokyo or Osaka builds or whatever it was within the new SimCity, and you could just feel how restricted he felt based on the scale of the map he could use. Central hospital, that's a good idea, Nikki. I don't even have a central hospital. I need a central hospital. But how do I make it central out of all the space? Perhaps the hospital should be not so central, but then relatively modern. And the old hospital is just gone then. I wanna play, but the chat is just being so clever today. I wanna participate. You could build a lot of small cities into one big one, that's true, Shady, but you kinda need to do some mental gymnastics to imagine it as one big city when it's separated in these tiles. Do you even have a hospital? Nope. I don't think I do. How do I even check it? Honestly, I don't know how to play this game. I just play stuff. How do I even check this one? Healthcare? Nope. Like a third of the city is sick. Alright. Do I even have some fitting ambulances? Okay, so I have a Dutch ambulance, I assume. I could use that. I think the hospital should be closer to the entrance of the city to easily be able to serve the whole region. That's a great way of thinking, Jonathan. I agree. So I could actually build it pretty far from the city center. So it's a regional medical hub. I don't even place this guy. That's a great quote. I think I might want to build it here, maybe. Just gonna mark for reference. I'm gonna name the hospital after you, Jonathan. First time hearing your voice since I've been following your builds, episode 1 and 2. Damn, that's all the way back when I started, which is not that long ago. It's not even been a year, but yeah. I agree on your points on not voicing videos. Oh, I'm happy to hear. And the quality of your builds quickly made you a big City Skyline favorite of mine. Maybe I'll even repair my PC when my masters is done and upload something too. Keep it up, love from Norway. Thank you, man. Thank you, Raphael. That's nice of you. You should repair it now and do YouTubing while you work on your master's degree. I'm doing that, and it's awfully stressful and miserable. So go ahead. I think this could be a nice area, so I'm not sure I have the proper asset currently. Perhaps this one. I've used this one before. This one is a bit too... Well, maybe it could work. This one is just insane. Never mind. This one's too small. I think this one would be a pretty good fit. Don't say that. I'm starting my masters in 4 weeks. What are you gonna study, man? Nilsson, I am reading IT design and application. So it was formerly called just software, I suppose. And so the logic behind my master's degree is that you are not able to enter the program if you have a bachelor in IT already. So it's kind of tailored to people that do not have any knowledge of IT or any degree in IT, but would like to combine their master's degree in humanities or social studies or whatever with an IT master's degree. Because theoretically, and the first reports from the job market luckily supports it, theoretically that would be an awesome mix for a bunch of companies in need of IT consultants, people that have decently deep insight into IT but also have other competences. So that's the branding of it. So I've always liked computers, and I kind of found out that I'm just gonna place it here as a placeholder. I need to add some parking and stuff. But yeah, the idea is that I will have a nice profile with a bachelor degree in history and a master's degree within IT. Look how busy it is. A singular building, I suppose that I could have some kind of research center here as well. That would make sense. It could be like an add-on that has been built later on, maybe some kind of research institute. I just don't think it should outsize the hospital by a lot. I don't have a lot of office stuff here, it seems. Let's see if we can get creative with some grow balls, maybe. Okay, so I need some with the same roof. Green, no. There's a white one. Need a white one more. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So somehow gotta turn this into a research facility. Yeah. Yeah, perhaps I could have 2 of these. They don't look too awkward. It's the obvious way of connecting these, something like this maybe. That looks pretty futuristic. A hospital in Europe could look like that. Too much money wasted on a nice design. Expensive architects. I always liked your build style where you try to implement realism throughout networking and buildings. Thanks. Yeah, I've always tried to achieve realism in scale. So not so much realism in detail. So if you go down into the finer things, there's not gonna be a lot of hero detailing, but I always strive to have a city or a cityscape where if I'm at kinda this zoom level, which could be like a drone or a helicopter or something, it looks realistic and feels alive. So that's also what always what I kind of strive for. So that's also why you'll continuously see me build something, pan out, take a look, if something really stick out, doesn't fit in, I'm gonna re-ramp that maybe, but usually I don't, I just stick with it. So this thing over here is kinda awkward. I think I'm just gonna remove these, bring this down a bit, oops, so I can have parking behind it maybe. Now I wonder if these are functional. And if I can just... no, I can't texture them. So they are for the new parking roads, I assume. But I don't think I actually have them here. A bunch of new roads were released to the workshop today with parking spaces built into them. So they make building like suburban malls pretty easy. And I actually do have them. Oh. So this was the first time I was using this, so I apologize in advance. Oh, you actually placed the prop after. Wait, what's that? I can't. No, probably. From 2 to 4. And then you're supposed to. Oh, alright. Okay, that's pretty weird. I thought the parking were like included in the actual roads. But I suppose you'd have to do something like this. And does he have something special for a big fat one here? Why, you're supposed to just build it yourself? Or something like that. Okay. I'm just trying this out. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it, but I should learn to be pretty interesting. So I guess this is supposed to work now. Well, it does function decently, I guess. How do I... Oh, it has a node over here. Just gonna see if we get some parking here. Do European hospitals generally have a helipad, or is that more of an American thing? I think some European hospitals do. When I was in Norway, in like when I was a teen, I crashed skiing and kind of messed up my arm, broke it 3 places or something. And I think I was picked up by a helicopter, I don't remember. But anyways, that was Norway, and they have pretty much everything because they're filthy rich. Damn, the holes. Look at this. Okay, so to correct myself, I suppose some of the simulation still works in my city and people desperately need medical care. So yeah. Could also add a rehabilitation center with small modular houses with care facilities. Oh, that could actually be pretty cool. I'm not sure I have what I need for it though. Yeah, it is, Jonathan. It looks kinda awkward right now. But I think once I could, let's see. Can I connect this directly though? It's very unusual so much time on something so I don't want to say insignificant. And alright, it was just one section. I don't think it's, maybe it's not flat. These are also made by Avanya. These already decorated planters, so they're pretty cool, I think. What the hell is going on? Jesus. So I think I'm gonna get back to the hospital here in the next stream, just to make it real nice looking. For now though, it pretty much just serves to actually function within the city. Yeah, it's definitely an issue that I add medical service so late into the game when the city is actually already established, and that it's also added on the outskirts along the busiest road. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But I think I'm gonna have to wrap it up by now though. It's getting kind of late, and I have I'm fortunate enough that I have to study tomorrow. That's just yeah, it's gonna be a blast. So I'm just gonna see if I can answer some last questions from the chat, or if you have any thoughts or input. Oh, there's so much. Jesus. Let's see. Could you please show us an aerial view of the city so far? Yeah, so the guys that are kind of late to the stream, I have been streaming this region, so it's an attempt to have multiple cities and towns spread out throughout this region, connect them all by rail and buses, and see if I can make some really distinct towns and have some commercial areas, industrial areas and stuff mixed in. But so far I'm kind of wrapping up this city, which is, for now at least, the main town or city in the region. So it's supposed to be the main industrial hub and commercial hub. So this is how it looks so far, and I have an outline here for the spread of it, and this is just to remind me of making small kind of villages basically. So yeah, it's soon done, soonish at least. Let's see if I can answer a few questions before I leave. That 5-way crossing ain't good for the traffic. No, I agree. Let's remove it. I'm gonna rework the hospital thingy on the next stream. I think it needs a bit more attention. I don't think the middle parking spots will work, since I believe the game is treating it as road and not parking. You mean these, maybe? I'm not sure. Currently they don't even look like they function properly. So unless I really get the hang of this mod, I will... What the fuck? Yeah, this road is is definitely inspiring the hospital drivers to cause more harm than good. I'm probably gonna rework this area because it needs a bit more attention, and it's completely messed up the traffic of the city by having me place it so late, and by the demand being so high, because the city kinda has an issue. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix that. When's the next Project Japan episode? I'm not sure. Hopefully this weekend. Yeah, I think when my schedule's kinda busy, that's kinda the reason why I would like to try out streaming is that it's a bit more easy to just jump into than having to record, edit, upload, make sure you have the right music, etc, etc. I have a mega city and it is at the point where life cycles are lived, and I was wondering what to do about crematorium districts where the roads are full of hearses and the downtown gets no service. My only cheap way of helping you is to disable death care, like through mods, so you don't have hearses going everywhere to pick up dead bodies. That's what happens in my city. When somebody dies, someone moves in to take their spot. No hearses or crematoriums are needed. Is there a complete or near complete mod list for your current project? Yeah, Daniel, just check the description. I think I have a mod list of 96 mods or something. I think I use 104 in total, so the ones I've not included, there must be some clever reason. How do you make cinematic shots without making it so laggy with a CD like that? Okay, so what I do is I use the cinematic camera extended and I pick some of the shots I need. Now, instead of just playing it in real-time speed and recording it, which of course will be, as you can see, kind of low FPS, what I do is I reduce the speed. So for instance, I reduce it to 1/4, and then I just record it slow as it is, and then when I import the clip into my editing software, I speed it up by 4, so that it looks like it's actually, yeah, real time, I guess you could say, but in reality it's not. It's slow motion footage that has been sped up. I actually uninstalled the game. How frustrated I was that I was making shit cities even though I love the game. Just keep playing, man. We all started with bad cities. That's my claim, at least. The city's so developed that you got flying ambulances. I guess it's a Norwegian city. We have money for flying ambulances. Well, that's sweet oil money. Hope you can build a Soviet/Commie block city once, yeah. Probably could. The assets are certainly there, at least. What mod does the small street have, like that small parking spaces? You mean this one, maybe? Whether or not it's this one, I encourage everybody to find this dude on the workshop, Urbanist. He made some awesome roads, including this one, as well as the roads I use for my suburban areas with no markings for parkings. No markings for parkings. So I think that was it. I want to thank everybody who tuned in. It was a lot of fun. I got a bit less actual building done than I usually do on 2 hours, but that's because I honestly didn't know so many people would tune in and participate in the chat, so I kind of felt that I had to yeah, keep track on the chat, and I have tried that, but it's been hard. You guys have been very active, so I really appreciate that, and thanks to everybody who subscribed, and yeah, thank you all for watching. I think I'm just gonna find a nice angle here to
Skrivebord 1. Sishes. Skylines.
I think I just turned on the
Afslutter
reader,
oplæser.
the reader within Windows. Yeah, I did. So yeah, I just want to thank you all for tuning in. A lot of fun. Sorry about the reader. That's a little extra feature. Have fun studying. Best of luck. Thanks, Gecko. So yeah, we're just gonna end it with this song basically. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. It's been a lot of fun.